JJ the CPA here. Fixed costs. What are those? And might be an obvious, but the thing to think about on fixed costs are, we have to be a little more careful to commit to fixed costs because it's a fixed cost, right? Typically, if we're talking about a fixed cost, it's, I'm gonna have this expense no matter what. And when you're talking about then a variable cost, right? It's a expense you're gonna have depending on your gross income, depending on the activity, the top line. So when you're considering what are the fixed costs, then you wanna rank them based on what are the ones that I'm stuck with the longest, right? Because payroll, it may feel like a fixed cost, right? Because you're like, well, I have to pay people. But if your business is closed, you don't have to pay anybody. When it opens up, you gotta pay them. Unless, of course, you got PPP money. So you can get too crazy with it because, yeah, fixed cost is someone that's gonna be paid what they're paid, no matter what they're doing, and it's a fixed amount. Salesperson, it's a variable. But now think through, though, what you're most committed to. That's most of the time it's rent, right? Number one, rent. Then probably what do you have a contract on after that? Your telephone, your copier. Utilities is fixed, right? Might be a little less if you're not open. Of course, it goes away if you move, but you're kind of stuck with utilities as long as you're renting where you're renting, depending on that lease. Fixed costs may feel like advertising, but is it? So when you're looking at fixed costs, which seems like, well, it's an obvious, think through though what you're most committed to on the fixed costs, because that's the one when most business owners are like, all right, if everything goes wrong, how much am I gonna net? So if you know what your fixed costs are, rank them, because when you're thinking through whatever scenario you're thinking through right now, knowing the ones that you're most committed to makes a huge difference when you're actually now looking at that one number, that total number of fixed costs. All right, hey, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. Just trying to show the simplicity of numbers and the power of them. All right, hey, JJ the CPA here. You've never met a CPA quite like me.